Welcome to another episode of FAQ Mondays. I'm your host, Fluff. If you have a question for a future episode, leave a comment down below. And while you're down there, please consider subscribing to further support what I'm doing over here. Let's just jump into it, shall we? Desfar asks, if you could erase one guitar body shape from existence, what would it be? One guitar body shape. I mean, there's a lot of really bad ones, man. You know what comes to my mind, honestly? First thing, the Gibson Modern. My goodness. I can't even think about it. I don't wanna think about it. Gibson Modern is up there. The PRS prototype that Mark Tremonti plays that kind of looks like an Explorer RD got left in a radioactive pool of, that thing, nope. You know what, if I had some time with this question, I could probably come up with a whole list of guitar bodies that I absolutely hate. I pose this to you guys. What guitar body shape would you eliminate from the earth if you could? Leave a comment down below. I'm so curious as to what you guys say as well. That's a great question. Yamo asks, what are some of the videos that have been the most fun / enjoyable to make throughout the years? Great question. I'm always thinking of like collabs and things that kind of take me outside of this regular box. All of the stuff I ever did with Rob Scallon back in the day, like Metal in Inappropriate Places that I was a part of. That was like the first thing I ever mixed for him. And that was at a time when there was no rules. There was no anything as far as like blueprints and what to do and how to do it. So it really was the Wild West as far as the YouTube community went at that time. So I think about the collab stuff I did with Rob Scallon, with Jared Dines, the original Riff Wars stuff I did, and all the collaborative stuff for me was like such a big deal because it was so fun to like make stuff with your friends and then have people really enjoy it and kind of see the same vision that you had. So yeah, definitely the Rob Scallon stuff for sure. John asks, have you seen Randall Smith's latest YouTube video with him vacationing with the current Mesa Boogie team? Thoughts on the new Mesa halfback cabs for the Mark series amps? Have you ever had the original halfback cabs? John, thank you for your question. I've not seen the latest Randall Smith video. I've been meaning to watch it. It's on my watch later folder. However, the halfback cabs for me, they're not for me. My first thought when I saw because it was on April Fool's, and I know they said in the description, oh, it's not a joke. Like literally no one asked for halfback cabs. No one asks. I just wish those cabs were made again. I've tried and played through maybe 4 different ones on different occasions over the last 20 years. I think they sound atrocious myself. And maybe that had to do with the amplifier I was using, like, rectifier. I was not using a Mark series because I know those were really dialed in for the Mark series stuff. The EV speakers for me are too clean, too much headroom, which is the point of them. But those cabs were awful. I've never played a good one, real talk. So when Boogie came out with it, I was just like, no one asked for that. What are you doing? It's like Gibson coming out with the Modern or something. Like, who is asking for that? Just my opinion. There are lots of people that enjoy those halfback cabs. I am not one of them. Nope, not for me. Taylor asks, what are your unrestricted, no holds barred opinions on AI in music? That's a tough one because if you want to try stuff, I could see it being used as a limited tool to speed up a process, a songwriting idea that you could maybe, that would otherwise take you a long time to hash out, things like that, right? Otherwise, I don't really think it has a place in music and the arts in general, the visual and audio arts. I don't I think it's a real slippery slope. And the second someone can, I mean, people are already uploading fully AI generated things. I think that's completely pointless. That's completely pointless. And it's gonna take away people's ability to express themselves if we're not careful. But again, it's a slippery slope, because do I love AI in Photoshop when I'm making a thumbnail and I need just a little bit more headroom on my thumbnail? Yes, of course I do. That's great. Am I trying to have AI make a thumbnail for me? No, I am not. But a lot of people don't feel that way. A lot of people disagree with what I'm saying right now, which is fine. And that's what makes this world great, is we can all agree to disagree, some of us. But AI's scary, man. I've seen Terminator too many times. Mason asks, when is the Sterling Fluff signature dropping? Mason, that's a great question. I am asked that question 4 or 5 times a day. People DMing me. The truth is, I don't know. The truth is, it's gonna be sometime before September. How about that? That's all I know. Is it gonna be like, you know, the last part of the year? No, it's gonna be sooner than that. The reason why I don't know is because other things have to get nailed down as far as marketing and content, and me making things for people and going and flying places to create things for the rollout, and that takes time, planning, and resources. However, I can tell you it'll be before September that the signature Sterling Fluff guitars will be out. No asks, would you consider joining a band touring again? No, thanks for your question. The answer is yes, I would. If I got to tour where I didn't have to drive overnight myself, if I physically did not have to drive overnight, I would be stoked and excited to be there. If I made a little bit of cash doing it, that would be even better. I never got to tour in a bandwagon or a bus. I didn't ever tour outside of, a van and a shuttle, an airport shuttle that was converted with bunks. So I don't know what it's like to tour in a bus. But, yeah, would I tour again and play music? Yeah. Do I miss it? Yes, of course I do. Like, I'm human, and of course I miss playing shows. Do I miss everything that went around that? Nope, I sure don't. So, to that end, you never know, but yeah, currently no plans to tour. Winston asks, molded versus generic in-ears. Ooh. Winston, you pose a great question. Really, it's a matter of cost for most people. Universal fit in-ears, the earbud style, are generally gonna be much, much cheaper than molded. Molded are so expensive comparatively. I understand why most people don't get molded. However, with molded, you are gonna get obviously a custom fit to your ear. You are also going to get way more isolation than you could possibly have with a universal in-ear. That's just a fact. The moldeds are going to perform more optimally and better than a universal in-ear. For me, I only rock moldeds now because I'm able to. But for the first 25 years playing in gig, and I wasn't able to do that. So really, it was either earplugs or the universal, this $100 Shure Sennheisers, or whatever were available, West Tone. But for me, 64 audio moldeds are the best of the best. Jared asks, what do you think of Rabea Massaad? Tone music, his signature Music Man, Sterling Sabers, etc. Well, I am happy to report that Rabea is actually a real life friend of mine that I have known for, over a decade at this point. I was 2 Notes rep and I saw him at NAMM and I was like, dude, you're unbelievable. And he was playing it to nobody on I think it was the first time Chapman was at NAMM, I believe. And they had the prototype, I guess it wouldn't have been Victory amps, but he needed a torpedo. And I was like, yeah, anything you want, man. And we've been friends ever since. But I think Rabea Massaad is a gift to music. I think he has probably some of the best tone, the best music, and the best guitars out there, real talk. And I'm not just saying that. I thought that before I knew him. I just was like, this guy is so insanely talented. And he's also one of the nicest, most genuine, humble human beings I've ever met. Shout out to Rabea Massaad. Love that guy. Cortland Moore asks, how would you rank the signature pickups you've had between the two fastback pickups and the Fishman? My personal choice is Old Imperial, Fishman, and the Beard Comber. Ooh. A signature pickup is a lot like when you say what your favorite album is, and that can change over time. It's just where you happen to be at that particular moment. For me, the Old Imperials were pretty cool. I liked the Old Imperials because they were kind of a hot vintage kind of thing, and I was listening to a ton of Mastodon at the time. For me, the Fishmans were so good and so useful sonically for what I was doing in Dragged Under. So I would rank them. I would rank them as Fishman, Old Imperial, and then the original Beard Comber. The original Beard Comber was cool, but it didn't work with a lot of things, and it was too specific to your actual setup, or my specific setup at the time. Also, that was my first time really kind of having any input on a pickup, and I think I didn't really know what I wanted, right? If that makes sense at that time. But that was, 13 years ago or something like that, or 12 years ago. But yeah, it's what I'm working on now is also pretty cool. I can't tell you about that though. And that does it for this episode of FAQ Mondays. If you have a question, feel free to leave a comment down below. And while you're down there, consider subscribing to further support what I'm doing. And with that, you've been wonderful. I have been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.